So I want to talk to you about my channel. I've been doing videos about MA um, FS, and I realized not everybody knows this program. It's called Married at First Sight, and this one is in Australia. It's also been done in various countries. The reason why I like watching the one in Australia is because my daughter lived in Australia for a while, and I wanted to see Australia, and I was curious about that culture. And it's a way of getting to know a culture somehow. So what I've learned is that Australians really like to drink. I've learned that there are also immigrants that are part of the society from the population that participated. That Australians are very diverse people in the way they look. But they're all not blonde. They do like to drink. And also they're not people that are very they don't easily talk about emotions, I think. I think the ones who talk about emotions are not typical Australians. I've also seen that there's a culture of Botox and plastic surgery. And so it was quite interesting. I'm thinking why people like that show. So you take people they've never met before, and they get married. So this is like a social experiment. But having said that, there's supposed to be experts that are matching people, but the question is, who is an expert? Who can know which people to match? Well, so I would like to give my 2 cents worth, as they say. What do I think of this topic of matching? Why are some people good together and other people not? Um, a long time ago, when I was living in the States, a friend of mine said, opposites attract, but they don't stay together. So I do think that oftentimes people that are very different attract each other because they think that the other person has a quality that can compensate for something that they lack. So, for instance, people that are introverted are attracted to extrovert and vice versa. However, I think having watched this show verifies this statement in my eyes that people do best with people that are similar to them. And maybe we all have memories of the grandparents, the older generations, of people that are completely opposites and they would somehow they got along. But these days, when we have so much freedom to choose who we're going to spend our life with, our one life with, people don't like to suffer. They don't like to be with people that are not compatible. In the old days, people would marry people based on who their parents thought was right for them, who society thought was right for them. But these days, we don't have to compromise. We can be with whoever we want to be, or we can be alone. We have a lot of choices. So, because we have so many choices, and because the so called experts didn't seem to match people that are similar, I do think that this whole experiment of Married at First Sight is just uh, a show about people that are really different. Um, and I think, for instance, the person that doesn't express emotions, doesn't get along with the person that shows a lot of emotions because people like to feel comfortable. And there are enough differences between men and women. So if you add on top of that personality differences and opposites and people that are very different, this is doomed to fail. So I was trying to put on, I wanted you to see my lovely cat who's sitting right here, but instead of that, you have a view of the windows. I think it's very comforting these days that we can have something to distract us. and remind us of the time where people could shake hands, touch, hug. Because right now, it's very sad. The social distancing is the worst thing. Because even though I live in a city where people don't exactly embrace each other, it's still really difficult when you walk past a person and you feel like a leper. And I think this makes not just me, just a lot of people more sensitive to how people feel that are like lepers, how people that are different, that look odd, that have some disability, that disfigurement, how people that are odd feel, because they are feeling constantly rejected. People are always distancing themselves from them. So if this makes us more sensitive to what it feels like to be different and rejected, if you haven't experienced enough rejections, this will give you a taste of what it feels like to be rejected, what it feels like to be an outcast of society. Because right now we all walk around like outcasts, and sometimes I think I'm gonna go to sleep and I'm gonna wake up and it's gonna be like one big nightmare, or like an episode in a science fiction TV show, some dystopic nightmare some writer dreamed of. And I'm having a very hard time accepting that this is going to be the situation for a while. And it's hard for me not to be upset when I hear about the numbers climbing up. And I think it's a blessing that we have silly reality shows to distract us from a reality that surrounds us. But the big question is, what is reality really? Is it what we have in our conjure in our minds? Is it the ideas we have of the world? Or is there an objective reality? And I think the answer is reality is the thoughts that you have in your mind. And you don't have to let the media take over and dominate the thoughts. You can decide not to watch the news. You don't have to watch the news. You don't have to watch the newest statistics. And if you find yourself addicted to that, get another addiction. Get addicted to sport. Get addicted to cooking or baking or doing something that makes you happy. Don't allow anything to distract you from being happy. Peace, light, and love.